Hello, everyone. I'm that one nerd, Jacob,
And I'm that one Scout Collins.
and welcome to episode 17 of Those Nerds on a Podcast. And in case you're watching the video version and you see that this looks a little bit different, that is because this episode we are going to be doing a tier list of a select, group of NES and SNES games. Going forward for home consoles, it'll probably just be, the single console like N64, GameCube, Wii U, Switch by itself is just I personally don't know that much about either of these libraries because I don't have much experience with them. I don't know Caleb's experience with these libraries.
Eh?
Okay. But yeah, so Caleb cannot see the tier list because we have tried everything to get it to work with OBS and it just doesn't want to. So obviously I'll be reading the games out loud also so that way the audio viewers sort of know what's going on. And the tiers that we have are from top to bottom, greatest of all time. You should play these now. Solid games, would recommend, not for everyone, avoid at all costs, or haven't played / seen. And that's mostly just because some of these I've seen, like, through YouTube and stuff, but just haven't played. And then also, before we get into the tier list, you might be noticing that the video is now in a new place. Hello to all of our Twitter viewers. That is a very weird thing to say, but yeah, all the full episodes are now being uploaded to Twitter. I spent Thursday uploading all the old episodes, except for some reason Colton's episode. That's the only one that refused to upload on his birthday of all days.
Loser.
But yeah, so all the previous episodes of this podcast are available on Twitter, alongside still most major podcast uploading sites and YouTube. So yeah, more outreach, always a good thing. But Caleb, are you ready to get to ranking some games?
Let's get these bits.
All right, and then last thing, since we're doing a tier list instead of a nerd out, I should have talked to you about this. Instead, we will get 2 games that we are allowed to rank anywhere on the tier list without the other person's input.
Oh, okay.
And, like, if there's a disagreement, like, if I say one's greatest of all time, but you say solid games, would recommend, it just goes to the one in between. That's all it is. So, all right.
I've never heard of this game. Do not recommend. Never play.
All right, so first we have Breath of Fire and Breath of Fire 2 on the SNES.
Mm-hmm.
So have you played either of these? I've played both of them, and I think they're
No, I've never played any of these games.
Okay, they're essentially just like classic SNES RPGs. I played through the entirety of Breath of Fire 1 whenever it was on, since it was added to Nintendo Switch Online. So I would say that I would put both Breath of Fire 1 and 2, and you should play these now, because they're honestly solid RPGs, and if you enjoy RPGs, then, I mean, you're gonna have a fun time with them. Alright, next, we have the original Castlevania on the NES.
Solid game, would play.
Okay, fair. I would also just put it in solid game, like, for the first game, it's not bad. Right? But, like, so many other Castlevania games have came out that have
It's super memeable.
It is super memeable, yes, I will
agree. The first Castlevania is one of the most memeable games I've ever seen, and that's why it's a solid game.
Yeah, but yeah, no, definitely solid game, would recommend. Contra on the NES.
Never played.
Really? Okay. I've played a little bit of it. I've never beaten Contra. I'm pretty sure I could with the Konami code. But I would also put it in solid games, would recommend. Especially just in the sense of how good they are to play compared to most other, like, shooter games of the time. You could actually aim in what direction you wanted to shoot, whereas most shooters on the NES, you could either shoot straight forward or crouch and shoot. So, it definitely has that going for it. Alright. Donkey Kong Country 1. Please tell me.
It's a solid game.
Okay. I would argue and say that that is a game that you should play now. Alright? I'm not going to use my, I'm going to put this game immediately there. But it is like an amazing game in my opinion, especially in terms of platformers. Uh, so yeah, that would I
Yeah.
since we have the disagreement, that would put it in either high you should play these now or low you should play these now or high solid games. I'll leave that one up to you.
Lo, you should play this now. It's a good
Okay.
game.
Okay, fair, fair, fair. All right, Donkey Kong Country 2.
That one I liked a little bit more than the other one.
Okay,
Mostly, well, I mostly because of the. It was a bit. It felt bit cleaner. The first one was a bit sticky.
that's
Like
fair.
it was kind of harder to like move around in that game. And the second
Yeah,
one, it was a lot easier.
that's fair.
So that's a solid. You should play this now.
I would also agree. Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 are like some of my go-to games on the SNES, but Donkey Kong Country 2, excuse me, Donkey Kong Country 2 I will always pick over the first one. I'm gonna put it over Breath of Fire. So it's like highest top of you should play these now. All right.
Well, this is a pretty good bananas.
Donkey Kong Country 3.
Solid game.
Okay. I'll let you take over this one because that is the one that I have not played.
It's just a solid game. Like refer to number one and number two in terms of gameplay and stuff. They just continue the story a little bit. Like
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Fair. All right. Solid game. Would recommend. Doom on the NES.
Greatest of all time,
Dude, I feel like you could put
Greatest!
any Doom game in greatest of all time. Like, Doom is such a classic. And don't get me wrong, like, the newer Doom games, probably
Oh,
better, but you can't beat the original Doom. Like, it's always a fun time no matter when you play it.
not only that, but Doom in particular has been a measurement of all the memeable like computers people make. I made a computer out of 7 potatoes and a piece of aluminum. Can it run Doom? Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, no, like, that is. Oh, and also that was Super Nintendo, not NES. I'm dumb. But yeah, no, Doom is definitely like it's a baseline game and honestly, it's sort of the grandfather of all first-person shooters. You know, like
Hmm.
that is where first-person shooters got their start. And again, even though it might not be as fun as the current Doom games, it is still one of the greatest old games you can go back and play. Like seriously, if you have a console that you can get the original Doom, get it. It is that fun. I remember binge playing it for hours on accident because I was like, I'm going to play this. And I loved every second of it.
One of my favorite comics from one of all time was these two scientists that discovered. Well, it turns out the world really is a computer simulation, and the other scientist turns back and says, "Can it run Doom?" And the first scientist looks up from his paper and he says, "It is." It is.
It is. All right. So next up, we have Dr. Mario on the NES.
You should play this now. I love those. I love those games where it's just like stack and match the colors. I could play those kinds of games all day.
Okay, I was gonna personally say solid game, would recommend. It's not bad, but also it's just one of those things where it's like after a while it does get kind of repetitive. So I'll leave this up to you again. Should it go low, you should play these now, or high solid
Low, you
game?
should play the high solid game. High
High
solid
solid
game.
game? Okay, okay.
High solid game.
All right, Duck Hunt on the NES.
I love Duck Hunt. That being said, it's kind of a pain in the ass to play sometimes.
I would personally say this is not for everyone.
It's really not
Yeah,
because it's fun once you figure out how to lead the cans and stuff. But
at the same time, it's like, especially if you don't have an old CRT to play it on now. Is that a CRT? Am I thinking of it right? Like the old box TVs, they're called CRTs, right?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. If you don't have an old CRT to play it on, it doesn't even work right. Like, But I remember playing it as a kid, sucking at it, but still enjoying it. So that's, like I said, I think it's just not for everyone, but it is an
Same.
amazing game.
I agree.
All right, Earthbound Beginnings on the NES.
Did I play this one?
So I have not played Earthbound Beginnings. I played Earthbound on the SNES. Earthbound Beginnings wound up getting released later in North America, I think for the Wii U,
I
long
don't.
after it came out.
Oh, okay, then I probably haven't played it.
Okay, so damn, that's a shame. There's gonna be people that are mad about that one. But next we have Earthbound on the SNES.
You should play that game now.
Yeah, no, like,
It's I like after watching you play through it, I was like, huh. So this is where Undertale gets some of its stuff from.
yeah, no, like the writing is amazing, the fights are fun, unlocking stuff, while sometimes tedious and archaic, can be really fun. So I would agree that you should play these now, but personally, I think you should play Breath of Fire first. So I'm putting it below the Breath of Fire games. Ooh, personal bias.
Woo!
But yeah, Earthbound is really fun. If you haven't played Earthbound, go out, find a way to play it. It's on, Super Nintendo for Nintendo Switch Online. You can get it on there. I'm pretty sure you can always find ROMs and stuff online. We do not condone stealing. But yeah, I mean, Earthbound's just a solid game. Like, you should definitely play it if you get the chance.
Why did my first thought when you said we do not condone stealing was that scene from Over the Garden Wall with the talking horse, and the talking horse just goes, I want to steal.
Fair enough.
And there was a whole thing where it's just like, hey, we have a talking horse. It's like, why can't we steal? We stole Hector. Hector's a talking horse. He can do what he wants. The talking horse. I want to steal.
Oh man. All right. So, we have Excite Bike on the NES.
I've never heard of that game.
Excite Bike's like a classic NES game. Wow. Okay, well,
Yeah.
all right. I guess this one's up to me. I'm going to put it in not for everyone. The gameplay does get pretty repetitive. Especially older Excite Bike, in my opinion, kind of harder to control. Obviously, it's an old video game, so I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, this game control sucks whenever all you had was a D-pad, start selecting A and B. That wouldn't be fair to it, but at the same time, like, you have to kind of factor that stuff in while talking about it in a modern sense. All right, have you played either of the original 3 Final Fantasy games on the SNES?
I think I played the second one. They're all kind of the same, though.
Well, we'll put haven't played / seen for 1 and 3. Do you got a ranking for Final Fantasy 2? Because I have not played it or seen gameplay of it.
Solid game, would recommend.
All right. Would you put it over, under any of the games we have there right now?
I put it pretty much under all of those ones.
Okay, fair. All right, next we have the namesake of one of the old MWF pay-per-views, Final Fight. I haven't played it.
Neither have I.
Damn, I really ripped off the name of a video game title that I've never played. Ha! Funny. Oh my god. All right. Harvest Moon for the SNES.
Greatest of all time!
I guess you get this one because I have not played the SNES one.
It is literally so fun.
Better or worse than Doom?
Oh, worse than Doom, obviously. Doom. Seriously though, Harvest Moon on the SNES was one of the first like farming games to like really become popular.
Yeah.
Like Harvest Moon is chef's kiss. I love anything those guys make.
Fair.
If Magical Melodies was here,
it would be over for y'all.
I could play Magical Melodies until the cows come home.
Right.
Get it? Because it's a farming game and there's cows.
Oh my god.
Ow, my back.
Anyway, next up is Ice Climber.
I've never actually played Ice Climber.
I don't like it. I'm putting
Oh,
it in avoid at all costs. It's not a fun game. Like, it's genuinely not. Especially with how the gameplay's supposed to work. The jumping just doesn't make sense in it. Uh Again, it gets way too repetitive, way too quick. So, no, avoid it at all costs. Do not play it. All right. Kirby Superstar for the SNES.
solid game.
I would definitely personally say it is one of the greatest of all time. So I guess that puts it right in the middle for you should play these now. Do we
We
put
just
it
need we just need
high?
a
What?
we just need a picture of you with you should play this now with the glowing eyes and the lightning bolts in the background.
That's exactly the main reason I named it that. I named it after, the whole meme of you should kill yourself now. Like,
I love that, man.
me too. But yeah, so do we want to put it high or mid? You should play these now. It is not low. Like, I refuse to put it any lower
High.
than mid.
High.
High? Okay, gotcha. I will put it right under Donkey Kong Country 2. I feel like Donkey Kong Country 2 is better. But yeah, Kirby Superstar is like solid Kirby game. Definitely recommend it for everyone to play. All right, Kirby's Adventure on the NES. This is one that I would just say is a solid game to not for everyone just because you can't copy abilities yet. So it's kind of a bare bones Kirby game.
All right, we'll put it there.
Which one?
That just solid game.
Okay. I'll put it low solid game just because out of the other solid games that we have, it is not better than those. Unfortunately. All right. Kirby's Dream Course.
Dream Course?
Yes. It's
I've
okay.
never heard of that game.
Picture Kirby, but as mini golf.
Do not recommend. I'm not playing that shit. No, I'm not playing.
Nah. Unless you're using one of your automatic rankings, I get the choice here because I've actually played it.
Fuck it.
All right. I will put it in high, not for everyone.
Fucking mini golf.
Yeah, it's a very whoa. It's a very odd game. I personally have a lot of fun with it, but I would understand if other people wouldn't like the idea or wouldn't have fun with it themselves. So, I mean, putting it higher than high, not for everyone, just does not make any sense to me personally. All right, Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Yeah, that's a solid game.
Solid game, yeah. I'm gonna put it like right above Donkey Kong Country 3, right below Contra. There's something about Nintendo with threes being at least solid games, you know? All right. I don't know why it sort of spread these out like this, but I'm gonna go out of the alphabetical order now. Legend of Zelda 1 for the NES.
That's a classic, greatest of all time.
It's a classic game, but I personally don't think I could put it higher than maybe like high solid game would recommend just because of how confusing it is. There's like unless you have a guide, it is very hard to play that game.
That's true.
Yeah. But it is a classic, I will agree. Putting it any lower than solid game is kind of a crime. All right, we'll put it high solid game. We'll put
Go
it
to gamer jail.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next, The Legend of Zelda 2: The Legend of Link. It's I would personally say avoid it at all costs.
Yeah.
I'll put it above Ice Climber. It's definitely better than Ice Climber, but like it doesn't make sense, you know? It doesn't feel like a Zelda game. It doesn't feel like it should have been made for the Legend of Zelda series. You got any input on it, or are we just leaving it at avoid at all costs?
No, let's just leave it at that.
All right. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This is definitely a you should play these now type of game.
Okay.
Why are you saying okay if you never played A Link to the Past?
Never played A Link to the Past.
Okay, well, guess what? It is a solid game. You should play this Now, I'm gonna put it right above the Breath of Fire games, but right below Kirby Superstar. But yeah, Link to the Past is probably like the start of what made the Legend of Zelda series so amazing and lovable for generations to come. So again, I highly recommend you play it. I'm not even the biggest Zelda guy. I have not played every Legend of Zelda game, but the ones that I have played, almost all of them have been solid. All right, so these two are kind of deep cut games, but I wanted to see if you've heard of them from possibly YouTube, because I have not played them, but I have seen YouTube footage of them. And both of these games, I would say, are avoid at all costs. But I want to hear your input. Mario is missing.
Oh fuck no! Avoid at all costs.
I'm glad you knew exactly what I'm talking about. Like, even for an educational game, it's bad. Like, educational games have their place, right? Like, they have their place. This is not how you do it.
You can't even take damage from half of the boss battles.
Yeah, it's not good. And then Mario's Time Machine, which is the same thing. It's an educational Mario game.
Never played Mario's Time Machine.
It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's just Mario has a time machine this time. Avoid at all costs. Alright, so I might get a little flack for this. This is the only Mega Man game I put on the list just because it is the best out of the original 6. Mega Man 2.
Solid game.
I would say you should play these now. Mega Man 2 is honestly, in my opinion, better than Contra, worse than Doom, because Doom's actually first person, but like, dude, Mega Man 2 is one Mega Man game that I can always go back to and have a fun time.
Okay.
We'll put it low. You should play these now though, because compared to the other games that we have up here, it's not as good. All right, Mortal Kombat for the SNES.
Play it now.
See, here's my thing. Mortal Kombat, the first game as a whole, great. But with how censored it got on the SNES, I would say it's not for everyone. Like, there's no blood. It's replaced with sweat. There's no fatalities. At least the fatalities that there are, like, none of the characters explode. None of the skeletons get pulled out of their bodies. It's a very dumbed down and censored version. Like, yes, it's still a good fighting game, but if you know what the Mortal Kombat series is about, it's a letdown. So that's why I can't really say anything higher than not for everyone. But
okay.
I mean, do you still think it's you should play these now? Because if you do, then it would just go to middle of solid game.
I forgot about the censored version on the like you made me start thinking about PlayStation Mortal Kombat, and I was just like, play it now.
Yeah, no, like any of the Mortal Kombat games on consoles where it's not censored. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you should play these now. But yeah, no, like it's a good game, but it's not for everyone. I'm gonna put it high, not for everyone, just because it's still a solid game to play, but again, it's censored to all hell. All right. NBA Jam for the SNES.
Never played it.
I've seen gameplay of it. I would say it's a very low, solid game. Would recommend. Just because it's basketball, obviously, but like it's the commentary that makes it good, like from downtown, and like just all the funny shit you can do in a basketball game of all things. I would say it's a very low, solid game. Would recommend. All right. Pac-Man 2, Pac-Man's Adventure.
Greatest of all time.
What?
Say the title again.
Pac-Man 2, Pac-Man's Adventure.
Oh shit, that's the wrong game. Yeah, I've never played that one.
Okay, I was about to say, if you're saying it's greatest of all time, I was gonna put it in avoid at all costs.
Like, I was thinking Pac-Man World.
Oh yeah, see, Pac-Man World 2, yes, greatest of all time. We'll get to that whenever we get to the GameCube games. But
I was thinking Pac-Man World 2. I was like, Pac-Man, terrible news.
But yeah, no, Pac-Man's Adventure is shit. They tried to make Pac-Man a platformer, And again, the Pac-Man World games did it good. This did not do it good. This did it very, 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 very poorly. So get that shit out of here. Avoid it at all costs.
Get that shit out of my face.
All right, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
I actually hate that game.
I was also going to say it's not for everyone because it's kind of clunky.
I hate that game so much.
So,
and then when you get to Mike Tyson, it's just like, how are you supposed to beat this? And I hate that game so much.
So the way you're making it sound is avoid at all costs.
Yes.
All right. Just because I'm saying not for everyone, do we want to put it at high avoid at all costs or low not for everyone?
Low not for everyone, because there are people that like it. Those people typically have no lives.
Yeah, no, I've never really gotten into it, but I at least enjoy the early levels of the game. But yeah, no, once it gets past the fourth or fifth boxing match, it's so hard. It ramps up in difficulty way too fast. All right, River City Ransom.
You know, that game sounds familiar, but I don't remember anything about it.
I've never played it. I've seen a little gameplay on it, but I'm not gonna say it's enough for me to really form an opinion. But I know it's like according to most people, a classic on the NES. But again, I have not played it, and I haven't seen enough to really form an opinion. All right, haven't played / seen. All right, Sim City for the SNES.
I've never played the original Sim City.
The original Sim City, I would say at the very least, is middle. You should play these now. It is so good. It is so good.
Okay.
Like, there's really not much I can say other than it's a really good game, and you just have to give it a try before you can really say it's a bad game. Like, I have never seen someone who's played the game that also understands games that says it's a bad game. All right, so we have Star Fox for the SNES.
Play it now.
Yes, facts. Play it now. I'm gonna put it pretty high just because I remember before N64 was added to NSO, this is what I would always play. Like I'm a big sucker for the early Star Fox games. And while yes, the controls are different, it's still a really, really fun time. Especially since they were able to get, 3D graphics to work on a 16-bit console of all things. That's impressive. That is very, very impressive. All right. Star Fox 2 for the SNES, which didn't get a release until I think 2017 with the SNES Classic Edition.
Play it now.
Have you played Star Fox 2?
No.
I'm gonna say that it's not for everyone. I think I understand why they didn't want to release it on SNES hardware. It's not bad, but it's definitely a different experience from the original Star Fox. Like there is a lot to sort of go back over and relearn. So I'm gonna put it like mid, not for everyone, like right above Duck Hunt. All right, Street Fighter 2 for the SNES.
Greatest of all time!
It really is. There's a reason that Street Fighter 2 got so many ports and so many different editions, because it was just that good. Like...
It is the GOAT!
It is the epitome of early fighting games, of classic fighting games. Now, the question is, do we put it above Doom, above Harvest Moon, or below both?
I put it above both.
Really?
Yeah, I love that game.
You know what? I'll let you take it.
I'll sit there and play Street Fighter 2 for hours. And the best part is that you can literally play all of the characters. Like, it's not like Smash Brothers where it's just like, how do I play all of these? No, you can play all of them. And they all have interesting story modes. And you can just kick ass over and over and over and over and over again. I
Fair.
love Street Fighter 2. And all the theme songs are really cool. Like when you got Chun-Li's and then you've got Gao's. It's
Bro
so
is
good.
popping off right now.
The fucking when they did those speed run make fun of YouTube videos where they're like animated, it's the origins of speed run Mario.
Yeah.
They did a version with Street Fighter 2 and it is one of the greatest videos I've ever seen.
That is amazing. Hell yeah. All right, so next up, we've got the original Super Mario Bros. On the NES.
You should play this now.
Yes, yes. In terms of the original Mario Bros. Trilogy, which we'll get to all of them, it is definitely up there. I will put it. I'll put it middle of the road because I feel like compared to some of the other games we have, it's not the best. Like Donkey Kong Country 2, Mario, Kirby Superstar, and then Link to the Past and Star Fox. I don't feel like it lives up to those, but it's still really, really good.
And the fact that it's older than all of those games.
Yeah, no, like the fact that we can put it, like we have it above some SNES games like Breath of Fire, SimCity, Earthbound, Donkey Kong Country 1, Kirby's Dream Land 3. Like, it's a classic for a reason. It holds up. There are still people that actively play the original Super Mario Bros. At least once a week. All right. Super Mario Bros. 2, the American version.
You should play this now. I like the American version.
I would say it's like top of solid games, would recommend. It's not that it's a bad game, but like compared to Mario standards, right? Like
I like the fact that all the characters actually kind of gave you a little bit of a choice because Peach and Luigi had different jumps than Toad and Mario.
Yeah.
Like I actually really liked that.
Yeah, see, I like that too, but then again, like comparing it to all other Mario games gameplay, you can tell that this wasn't a Mario game. Like, in case anybody doesn't know, this game was actually a reskin of a game called Doki Doki Panic. Because the actual Mario Bros. 2 was considered too hard for Western audiences in Japan. So, that's why they reskinned Doki Doki Panic. Again, I don't think it's bad, but like, I don't know. Do we want to put it high solid or low play these now?
High solid.
All right, high solid, high solid. All right. Mario Bros. 3.
Greatest of
All time, baby!
It's the most put together Mario game I've ever played. It sets the standard for any platform. You got the shell mechanics are so solid even today. Where it's like if I want to aim a shell and hit the other guy, it's on point every time, exactly where I want it to be. If I want the Tanuki and I can just fly, I can just fly. Oh, yeah, and the level design of on Mario Bros. 3. Oh, it's so good. I love that game.
I also love the fact that the way the worlds are set up is kind of like a board game, as compared to the original 2, where it's like, oh, you finished this level, go to the next one. All right, now the question is, do we put it above Harvest Moon, above Doom, or above Street Fighter 2? Or below all of them?
I would put it below Doom, above Harvest Moon.
Okay, fair. That's a solid choice, but yeah, no.
I also love the fact that you can that you're both Mario and Luigi, and you can work together as a two-player system in that game.
Well, the way the two-player system works, though, is more of a versus.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, I guess for like
at the same time, if somebody dies, you can up them if you have extra lives. So it's just like
that's true. But one thing with Mario Bros. 3, that's like the game that I would always play on my sister Mandy's NES that she had. And then I remember whenever the Wii Virtual Console became a thing, this was the only Mario game from the Virtual Console that we actually bought. Like, we loved Mario Bros. 3 that much. It is still on the Wii that I left at my dad's house to this day. which means that that game has been on that Wii for 15 fucking years. All right, so now we go to Super Mario All-Stars, which is obviously Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Levels, which is actually Super Mario Bros. 2 on the SNES.
I mean, just play this now. Play this
Oh
now.
yeah, definitely. Like you have
It's the whole package.
the whole package plus a game that technically never even saw a release outside of Japan. So I mean, where can you go wrong with this?
You cannot.
Exactly. All right. I'm gonna skip over these two because I'm kind of focusing on the Super Mario platformers right now. Super Mario World for the SNES.
Super Mario World for the SNES. I'm gonna say that is a solid play this now.
You know what? Fuck you. I'm using my override power. I'm putting it above
Uh-huh.
Mario Bros. 3 and greatest of all time.
What?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mario World does. It keeps the same aspects of kind of like the board game feeling worlds, but the power ups, amazing. Yoshi, amazing. The world, amazing. The level design, amazing. The bosses being the Koopa kids, amazing. Dude, Super Mario World takes the hype of Super Mario Bros. 3, takes what it did well, and amplifies it to another level. So, I mean, it's slightly better than Mario Bros. 3 in greatest of all time.
Okay.
Like that is I think that's the only game out of the entire NES and SNES roster, even though we're allowed to do two, that I genuinely wanted to make sure made it to greatest of all time.
Okay. Okay.
All right. And then last of the platformer Marios, we got Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Solid game.
Yeah, solid game. Solid game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it like middle of solid just because it's not a Mario game. It's a Yoshi game.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, yes, you do have Baby Mario, but like calling it Super Mario World 2, I think is just their way of trying to get more units to sell. Cuz the gameplay, if you played Super Mario World, is going to be entirely different. Like you should not expect to be playing a similar game at all.
Yes.
All right. Uh Super Mario Kart.
Solid game.
I'm gonna say it's not for everyone. It does not hold
Mm.
up well in terms of Mario Kart games. Like this one and then one that'll come up later in the tier list videos. I don't see it holding up as well as like I can easily go back and play Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart Double Dash, Wii, 7, DS, all of those I can see myself replaying. I never want to play Super Mario Kart, but I also don't think it's one you should avoid at all cost. I think you should play it at least once. That's my take on it, of course.
Acceptable.
All right. So do we want to put it mid or high not for everyone or low or mid solid games?
High not for everyone.
High not for everyone. I'll put it right below Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
Okay. Super Mario RPG: The Legend of the Seven Stars.
I never actually played that one.
Neither have I. I've meant to, I really have, and I've avoided watching gameplay because I want to play it. So I can't even say that I've seen enough to understand, you know, a viewpoint on it. I know it's a really good game. I know a couple of the Easter eggs, but never actually gotten around to playing it yet. All right. Super Metroid for the SNES.
That's a solid game.
Yeah, definitely a solid game. I would put it like high to high mid solid because it is a very fun game. Like, definitely above Contra at the very least, but yeah. Where do you think we should put it, even though you can't see the tier list?
High.
High.
Because, yeah,
I'll put it right below Legend of Zelda.
Because the fact that everyone at the end is like, "Oh, Samus is a chick."
True. Facts. Actual factual. Alright. Super Punch Out.
Not for everyone.
I will say it's definitely better than the original Punch Out.
Yeah.
I feel like the progression ramps up a lot smoother, but yeah, it's still not for everyone. I think Punch Out Wii is one that you can actually say is solid whenever we get to that. But yeah, I will put it right above Star Fox 2, right below Kirby's Dream Course. Like I said, better than the original Punch Out because the progression makes more sense, but yeah. Tecmo Bowl for the NES.
Tecmo what?
Tecmo Bowl. It's football. It's football before the Madden games, dude. Tecmo Bowl is a classic. I would say that you should play this now.
I've never played it.
Wow. I mean, I guess that's fair. I remember whenever we got our NES Classic Edition, you know, the second generation of them, whenever they finally realized, like, oh shit, people want these, and then they made a bunch of them. My dad got an extra controller for it, and we played Tecmo Bowl. And I think that I played as they don't actually have the team names, but the jersey colors and where they're from definitely says it. I played as the Denver Broncos. He played as the Dallas Cowboys, and I think I kicked his ass 49-6. So yeah, you should play this now, but I'm putting it at the very bottom just because compared to all the other games you should play now, it's a sports game. It's not really going to live up to the rest of those. All right, Tetris for the NES.
Greatest of all time! I love playing Tetris. I love playing Tetris.
I mean, unless you want to... We only have 4 games left, so unless you want to bump it up with the...
Yes!
Okay, I was about to say, I only think it's a solid game, but fair enough. Where do you want to put it, since you have full control of where this goes? Above Harvest Moon, above Mario 3, above Mario World, above Doom, above Street Fighter 2, or below all? Huh?
Below Mario 3.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, Tetris
I
isn't
love
bad,
Tetris.
but like, it's not a game that I could constantly go back to. That's why I'm like, solid game, would recommend.
The 3 games you're always going to find me playing on my phone is either going to be chess, or it's going to be Soda Dungeon, or it's going to be Tetris.
Dude, I forgot about Soda Dungeon.
I have not. You hooked me up with Soda Dungeon, and I've been a soda junkie ever since.
Hell yeah! So you're the lowest possible character you can be,
and usually naked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. So next up, we have Tetris Attack.
Tetris Attack. Well, it's a Tetris game, so obviously greatest of I'm gonna put it as a solid game.
Have you ever played Tetris Attack?
No.
It is not Tetris.
What? Avoid this game at all costs.
Have you ever played Pokemon Puzzle League?
Yeah.
It's Pokemon Puzzle League. I think the original game that it was called in Japan, but they changed it to Tetris again for marketing in America, I think is called Panel de Pan. Again, plays the exact same way as Pokemon Puzzle League. I would say, though, it's not for everyone. Not everyone's gonna like this style of puzzle game, in my opinion.
Especially if you're ripping off Tetris. What?
Again, I feel like in North America, the only reason they did that is so people would see Tetris in the name and be like, "Oh yeah, I liked Tetris," and then pick it up. But yeah, no, it is not Tetris at all. Do not let the name fool you. But I will put this above Kirby's Dream Course, because even though I don't think it's for everyone, still play it. It's good. All right. Wario's Woods.
Never played it.
Avoid it at all costs. It's a shit game. But it is better than the Mario is Missing and Mario's Time Machine and Pac-Man 2, Pac-Man's Adventure. Fuck Pac-Man's Adventure. All right. The last game we have on here for the Super Nintendo, Wolfenstein 3D.
There's a Wolfenstein game on the SNES?
Yeah, that's the original one where you fought Mecha Hitler.
That sounds really cool, but I've never played it.
I would say you should play these now, especially if you're a person that likes Doom. It's basically the exact same thing. I think Wolfenstein technically came out before Doom, but again, Doom just does it better. Has a lot better layouts in level design and stuff. But Wolfenstein, you should definitely play it.
Okay.
I'll put it right above SimCity.
That Wolfenstein meme where it's the two guys stabbing each other and then just cuts to British.
All right, so that is our tier list, and this is very loosely ordered, obviously, but from lowest to best, from worst to best. First, we'll start with the haven't played / seen, just so that way they don't get forgotten. Earthbound Beginnings, Final Fantasy 1 and 3, Final Fight, River City Ransom, and Super Mario RPG. So, honorable mentions. Sorry we haven't played or seen enough about y'all, but fuck you. Okay.
Just mail them to Jacob and he'll get it on his Let's Plays.
I mean, Earthbound Beginnings is on the NES for Nintendo Switch Online, and I want to say Super Mario. Well, no, Super Mario RPG isn't on there because it's owned by Square Enix, and they have to get permission from them to put it on there. So, yay. Okay, but anyway, so from worst to best, in avoid at all costs, we've got Pac-Man 2, Pac-Man's Adventure, bottom of the barrel. Then we've got Mario's Time Machine, Mario is Missing, Wario's Woods, Ice Climber, and the Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Those are, from worst to best, what we have, and avoid at all costs. Again, just from the way the tier's named, don't play these. These are not games worth playing. They are not worth your time. Even if you're curious about them, you're going to be mad at yourself for playing them.
So we should make you play them during your singles Let's Plays.
Considering that only 3 of those games... Oh, shit, 3 of those games are Nintendo Switch Online. God damn. Oh, God. All right.
Bring out the wheel of punishment!
All right, anyway, next, not for everyone tier, from worst to best, we've got Punch-Out, Excite Bike, Duck Hunt, Star Fox 2, Super Punch-Out, Kirby's Dream Course, Tetris Attack, Super Mario Kart, and Mortal Kombat. I think the best way to describe this tier is basically play them at least once, you know, but definitely not games that you should go back to and play unless that's just something that you're really into. Like, I play Kirby's Dream Course every once in a while. That's something I'm into, but not everyone's going to be into it. So, play each of those games at least once if you have the means to. Pretty good for at least one time. Next up, in solid games, would recommend from worst to best, we have NBA Jam, Kirby's Adventure, Final Fantasy 2, Donkey Kong Country 3, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Contra, Castlevania, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Dr. Mario, Super Metroid, The Legend of Zelda, and Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. These are all games that you should at least play once for sure, but you will definitely want to play at least one other time after that. You know, especially in cases like the platformers, Mario 2, Kirby's Adventure, Donkey Kong Country 3, Super Metroid, those all deserve to be played multiple times. Solid games. Next, from worst to best in the tier of you should play these now, we've got Tecmo Bowl, Mega Man 2, Donkey Kong Country 1, Earthbound, Sim City, Wolfenstein 3D, excuse me, Breath of Fire 2, Breath of Fire 1, Super Mario Bros. 1, Star Fox, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Kirby Superstar, Donkey Kong Country 2, and Super Mario All-Stars. Easiest way to describe this tier, if you haven't played these games yet, you need to do it immediately. Immediately, without question, just go play them. They're that good. And finally, in the greatest of all time, which only 6 games made it into, from worst to best, we have Harvest Moon, Tetris, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, Doom, and according to me and Caleb, the greatest game of all time between the NES and SNES is Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, baby!
I feel like this list is gonna ruffle up a lot of feathers and make a lot of people very, very, very mad.
Listen, if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't like our tier list, make sure you hit that dislike button twice to make sure your opinion really counts.
Yeah, hit the dislike button twice. And if you're watching this on Twitter, I don't think there is a dislike option.
Just retweet it to all your haters.
Just retweet, just be like, yo, check out these idiots, guys. Look at their stupid, shitty tier list. No one should ever love these guys ever again. Honestly, though, looking at it, I think we made a solid tier list.
Yes.
Like, especially since we made sure to include all-time classics like Doom and then Mario Bros. 3 and Mario World in greatest of all time. That should be enough to let you know that we at least know what we're fucking talking about, you know? You know? And then obviously, we made sure to do the right thing of putting, you know, Pac-Man 2, Pac-Man's Adventure all the way and avoid at all costs. You know?
Yeah.
Avoid them at all costs. Don't play it. But yeah, obviously I'm not going to post a picture of our tier list yet because I want people to actually watch the podcast and, you know, see it all. But like probably in a week, I'll upload the actual picture to our Twitter page and everything. But yeah, we only have like 8 minutes left. Jesus Christ. Honestly, I didn't have a nerd out prepared. I still don't have one.
Neither do I.
I'm good with this one being a shorter episode since we did a tier list episode.
Yep, let's cut it here.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you don't, kill us too bad with our tier list. Again, I think we made a solid list. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and or listening, especially if you're watching now on our new upload source of Twitter. We hope that you continue to watch our podcast here. And we will see you guys next week. Have a nice day, everybody.